Welcome back to another episode of the Job and Ruben Show.
We're back. We know you've missed us, but we finally got around to recording another episode. Been a bit of a hassle, but we're here.
We're here. That's the main thing. So how's your week been?
Pretty uneventful. Just kind of stumbling through life, really.
Yeah.
Why? What have you been up to?
Well, I went to another meeting for the World Scout Jamboree and I
Right.
watched Parasite.
We'll have to make a full episode about the World Scout Jamboree at some point. Had nothing to do with tech, by the way, but for you, at least, it's very, very important. All right, Parasite. Then let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Parasite is such a sad film.
It's not. I guess so. That's one way of looking at it. I don't know. What were your overall thoughts? Sum it up into one big, concise blob.
Massive plot twist.
Oh yeah.
The plot twist. What?
It was. I'll have to rewatch it at some
I
point.
highly recommend it. It was so good. So, how was your experience of Parasite?
Well, first time I watched it, it was with my parents. You know, that cozy kind of movie viewing feeling, all that. I loved it from the beginning. To be honest, I don't know if it's my favourite movie, but just from an objective standpoint, it's probably the best movie ever. They had to walk out because they just found it so stressful. But yeah, how did you watch it? Was it with your parents or just?
By myself.
Oh, lonely.
But no, we highly recommend it. Let's talk about what we're going to be discussing. So today we're going to be discussing about the social medias that absolutely flopped.
There were plans for a lot of research, but you know, us being us, didn't really get round to it in the end. So
It's been a bit of a hectic week.
yeah, man with the notes, care to take it away?
So let's kick off with Google. So Google started off with their Google Buzz. Do you know about that?
I've never come across Google Buzz. As we were going through the notes, I thought you were talking about Google Plus and you just misspelt it, but yeah, no idea.
So Google Buzz was the predecessor to Google Plus, which started in
Right.
2010, and it was a way for them to start sharing videos, a bit like Instagram, to share videos and stuff. But then, unfortunately, it shut down in 2011. Well, it didn't really shut down because it kind of bridged into Google Plus.
Yeah, tried to pump it with a little bit more life so they could keep it going for a while. Yeah, Google has been very committed to trying to make their own social media, but the problem is, I don't really like to talk about other podcasts on this episode, but I was watching an episode of Joe Rogan, and they had, believe it or not, the man himself, Mark Zuckerberg, on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy the kind of people they can get on it nowadays.
Do you like him?
But
Mr. Zuck?
he's weird. He's a weird guy. I don't know. What are your thoughts on him? Because mine are a bit confusing.
Got some good ideas, really good ideas, but sometimes his way of executing them can be a bit dodgy. But overall, he's not a bad person, just like
Bit of a creep.
knows everything about you.
But yeah, he was saying about how the level of innovation and creativity that is needed to get like a social media even off the ground, let alone like keep it relevant. Like pretty much every social media has like cornered the market. You know, Instagram for the photos, for the reels, that kind of stuff. WhatsApp for the messages.
TikTok for the really short, 15-second.
YouTube for the more committed stuff. Like, there's no real. I don't know. Do you see some kind of gap in the market here?
Not really. But I think going back to Google Plus, it just like couldn't compete. Like when it moved in, Google was trying to force everyone onto it, and again, it just couldn't compete. They even had like celebrities. I think like Britney Spears was.
I don't know. My only real interactions with Google Plus have been seeing it shilled everywhere. I think my doctors still have a sign saying Google Plus. I don't know. Were you ever on it? Did you have any idea what it was about?
I think I put it myself on there once, but I just didn't understand it because it was trying to do what Facebook was trying to do, but in Google's, where they wanted to be able to share videos and photos. It was a bit. The layout was fairly similar to like Instagram with the photos and stuff.
Oh, right.
But it just couldn't compete with the competition. Like they just couldn't bring people away.
Even with the backing of the giant that is Google.
Yeah.
They're better off, honestly, Google, if they want that sweet data, which as we know they definitely do. They're better off just like buying another social media like Discord or Twitter, like they're owned by no one. And Twitter, we've all the Mark Zuckerberg affair, which is backed out now. But I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky situation, isn't it? But ultimately, it got shut down in 2019, which I think...
Surprisingly recent. I honestly thought it was going for way longer.
Yeah, no, it was just... I think it was there, but no one used it. But I think it kind of shut down for good. I think it wasn't contributing towards anything in society. It just died, and actually, it's probably a good thing that they shut down because... It was just good because no one... It was
What did it do?
wasted resources. What did it... Exactly.
What did it... You're better off. Look, Sundar Pichai, this is a message from me to you, man. You're better off harvesting our data through the Google search engine.
Yeah.
Just stay out of social media, for now at least. We never know.
Yeah.
Metaverse, all that. Scary.
But yeah, no, I don't know, it just really didn't... I think someone tried to share some photos through it, but I don't know what happened. It was just such a hassle to see them as well. It was really weird.
Alright.
But let's move on to Apple's attempt at...
Alright, this I had absolutely no knowledge of. This is Ping, isn't it?
This is iTunes Ping. So this was created... It was created from in 2010 when iTunes was going and the iPods were booming.
What happened? Do people still use iTunes? Because you have to buy music on it, don't you?
Yeah, people. I still use it because
Weird. Is it because you download the MP3s, that kind of stuff?
yeah, because we've already bought, and you can also, if you've got the CD, you can just import it straight onto there.
Right.
And being quite, we like our music. We just
Yeah, you're a very musical family. While we're recording this, you can't see, but you've got a ukulele, you've got a djembe drum. This is a proper musical setup. But yeah. So, what was Ping trying to do? At least, from what I've heard, at least it was original, unlike Google Plus.
So it was sharing your music with other people. So it was just a bit of a way of, look, here we are. Do you want to share this music? Yes, we'll share it to this, and we'll share it, and it can connect your friends. But also,
sounds pretty good.
It was a good idea, but then in 2012 it just dropped because they just used the integration of Twitter and Facebook.
Of course, yeah.
To if you wanted to share this big new hit you found, instead of perhaps sharing it through their inbuilt thing, you just shared it straight to Twitter. But at the time, everyone was using.
To be honest, I can't really remember the last time I've ever even used the share button. Do you?
Oh, I do when I'm trying not on posts, but if I'm downloading a document or I might share it to people I need to share it. I do actually use it, sharing photos as well.
I guess so, yeah.
Now let's talk about the big brands. Wait, before we start about the big brands, Vine.
Vine.
The legend itself.
What happened? It was so good. It had everything a real social media needed.
Yeah, I think they went bust actually. But it was funny. It was such a funny platform. It was like TikTok, but better. Was it not? No, TikTok, but better.
Less Chinese, less Xi Jinping watching your TikTok dances. So yeah.
Didn't the US Number 10? You know they've pulled out. They've no longer got their Number 10 account on there, the government, because they said they didn't want. Basically, they implied that they didn't want their information being tracked.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it is. It's a. I don't need to go all like America, the Chinese, but it's a national security risk. It is, and they all do it. Huawei does it. It's weird, but that's more the politics of tech than the the tech itself. So I don't know, maybe we'll have an episode on that, or the Chinese conspiracies we have.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame. I really liked Vine. Leave a message if you really like Vine like us too. But
it really was. Depends. Even now, are you really into your short form videos or no?
The thing with short form videos, they're so addictive.
Of course, yeah.
Because when you watch it, 15 seconds to a minute, you go, oh, that wasn't long, so you scroll on to the next one, and you go that, and you just keep scrolling until you find a good one, and you go, oh, the next one will be better. But because they're so short, you're getting so much content in such a short time, you don't realise how long you're on.
Exactly. Well, you've got all your screen time stuff, but I can't.
Yeah. Let's move on to the big brands. Shall we start
Right.
off with Twitter?
Right.
So-
I'm less familiar with Twitter. I'm very used to being angry at Facebook because of all the dodgy stuff they've done. But what about Twitter then?
So Twitter, give credit to these big brands. They're amazing. They're thriving, and they're not exactly fails because they haven't failed. They are booming, but these are slightly more questionable things they've done.
Yeah, you could put it that way.
And it's probably no fault than no one. It's no one's fault.
English. Yeah.
It's no one's fault really. It's just what happened. So I don't know if you remember Tay Tweets.
I have heard tales. I've heard stories. Obviously, unfortunately, for those of you listening, can't put any of those tweets up. Can't recite any of those tweets because care to explain, Ruben?
So Tay Tweets was a brilliant idea of using new AI to communicate with people. So they use the fact that they use the AI learning system. So when people kind of replied and tweeted back, Tay Tweet learned from that so she could respond, and it was just the AI posting tweets. But on the first 24 hours it was good. It was like, hello my fellow people of the earth, we are all happy and rainbows. And then within 24 hours
4chan got hold of it.
It went from being really happy and nice to some major racial slurs.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I think it was some B-board shenanigans, as it always is with this kind of stuff. I mean, you've probably heard of the what was it? Mountain Dew. They had they had Dub the Jew, and the leading one was. There was some very dodgy entries there, but
it was just so bad that they had to take it down because she was like I think she threatened to start World War III at one point, and so she was going to do some major damage if they didn't shut. So I think within 48 hours it was shut down because just a group of people thought it would be amusing to transfer their really racist views to the AI, and the AI didn't realise because she thought it was normal, because that's what everyone else was saying, but actually it wasn't, and it was horrific.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is a part of me that still wishes it was up, just as like a statement, or like just to let it be there. I mean, you might have heard of the the request for like 2 different kinds of Twitter, the censored Twitter and the uncensored Twitter. I don't know how I feel about that. Would you like 2 Twitters where one is like you can say this kind of stuff, one you can't?
I don't know, because I think what they should do, they maybe should have like a toggle.
Yeah.
So, but actually, where does the censorship come into? Does the censorship come into racial and more violent, or is it just swearing in general? Because it depends where you put your line.
It sucks. It sucks when like a YouTube video gets age restricted just because there's like one F-bomb.
Yeah, or because YouTube won't put adverts if it's made for kids, so you always have to not make it for kids, even if you don't swear in it, because you're not going to get ad revenue otherwise.
Of course.
The next thing is, I don't know if you remember, but Twitter had a major cyber security.
Of course they did. There's a list if you're interested on Have I Been Pawned. I think it's haveibeenpawned.net. Not sure, but there's a list you can look all the different companies that have been hacked, and
when.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Twitter's there.
Yeah, change your password. This is where like password managers come in. What do you use?
I use Bitwarden. It's pretty good. It's open source, obviously.
It's open source, not sponsored.
Not as secure as KeePass. Or well, we can't really be sponsors because they don't make money. But not as secure as KeePass.
Dashlane's fairly good though. They are
Not
close.
LastPass though. That's the only one you shouldn't be using. They have been data breached multiple times, so would not recommend. Why do you?
But
do you just use the Apple one?
Yeah, I just use the Apple one. But the thing is, it will give you alerts every time you change your password, which means you can go ahead, change your passwords so often, and it's all there, so you remember. And one password to access them all.
Yeah.
And because it'll be so secured. But what happened with the tweets is a bunch of hackers hacked into it and sent messages out on really famous people's accounts from people like Mr. Beast to Barack Obama.
Right.
They hacked into Barack Obama's. Like, imagine how secure Obama's stuff is.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, and they basically went, if you deposit £1,000 worth of Bitcoin into here, we'll double it. And you look at stuff what Mr. Beast does. He literally gives away money for fun.
Yeah.
So
He gives away money for more money.
yeah, that's what people do. Oh, will you pay for this? Oh yeah, sure. Here's £5,000. Which so people did, but because it was Bitcoin, it's untraceable and you can't get your money back. So as soon as they put money in, they did not see that again, and they just got scammed out of it. And it was such a bad hack because,
Yeah.
especially when it came from big verified accounts, it was scary.
There had to have been some kind of warning, but I guess when it happens so quickly, what can you do really?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about it like way back on like some ordinary gamers video,
It's
but
just so
I
sad.
could never really take in how much of an effect it must have had on
I was gonna say,
everybody.
it must be so sad because if people, that's what kind of content people made, where they gave away money, it must have been so heartbreaking to find out you've lost so much money like that.
Alright, the big boy, the one I've been dying to talk about. I don't really know. There's been quite a lot of data breaches
So
in the
they
past.
have-
Which one's this?
But actually, I quite like Facebook. Like, they're not bad. They're just targeted a lot, and overall, I think they're fairly okay. And they've definitely won the hearts of
The old market.
the old market, and they're still thriving. Like, they've got a really good population base.
I think they were thriving. I know they've been losing users recently, but I think Instagram's the only one that's growing.
But again, that's owned by Facebook.
Yeah.
By Meta.
Mm.
But okay, let's talk about their portal. You know when they kind of went to copy like Alexa and all that, they had their Facebook portal, which only recently in June got discontinued.
Wow.
Literally, it's so recent because I just don't think they were making as much money. But nicely, they're not making any new ones, but they're still supporting the software, so you can still use them.
It's interesting. Why do you think so many companies are like so motivated to get in on this personal assistant market and also the buds market?
But yeah, even Anchor, the charging brands use Buds, which I quite like the Anchor stuff. I do.
Why do you
recommend
think
them.
all these companies are like they want to so badly get in on these markets?
I think because
In particular?
it's working, and why wouldn't you? If you know this is blowing up, why wouldn't you capitalise on it?
Suppose so.
So
what happened? Because
So with-
personal
with-
assistants, they can. There's a lot of options out there, but they're very dependent on how good your voice recognition is. That
Yeah.
can make or break a
like
personal
Alexa's
assistant.
weird. Like, she will pick up some stuff and then won't on others. So, but the fail with I don't know what really happened to Portal, because I just don't think they could keep up with the competition because Alexa just happened to be so good.
Suppose so.
But I think there was one interview, and he was talking something like in 20 some early years before, and it's like, what happens to a world when we've all got cameras in our room? That's so bad. And then a couple of years later, he goes and creates Portal, which is literally a camera in every
You're
single
starting
room.
to sound like a Linux user now, Ruben. You see? Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big data risk. I've unplugged my Alexa. I would recommend it to most people.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, they're not going to track your information. They're
Yes, they
fine.
are. It's come out multiple times that Amazon employees have got recordings of the conversations people have been having. There is security risk. It's like the TikTok of
No.
Internet of Things
No,
devices.
they're fine. Cambridge Analytica. Do you remember those? We've got to be brief on this, though.
Yes.
So-
We're kind of pinched for time. We might do a bit more editing for this one just to trim it down so you don't get bored of hearing our voice. But Cambridge Analytica, yeah, that was
Scary how much data they took. Like, it was horrifying to find that just through the adverts they managed to reap all this information. It's like, how? It was like,
course.
how do you let this happen?
I think they've recently, not recently, they were very quickly discontinued, the company, because talk about ruining your customer reputation when you're involved in something like that. How can you even? It
Yeah.
really, in a way, it was kind of a good thing. I know that sounds weird. I don't know if you'd agree, but it kind of woke people up to how precious their data is and how they should really be doing some stuff to protect it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. They had a data breach in 2019 where 540 million data and credentials and passwords got sold, and they weren't going to notify people. I just think that's so bad.
Ouch, yeah.
As soon as you found out, I changed my password like that
Mm.
because I think they have a duty to tell people. And how does that even happen? I think they must be targeted so much for that to happen. So,
Yeah, but then again, how do you protect from these data breaches when you're being assaulted from all angles?
exactly.
Mm.
I think so. You ready for the best for last one? The
Alright.
biggest fail in social media history.
Okay.
Do you want to have a guess of which social media brand this is?
MySpace.
Got it in one.
Hey.
MySpace. It was legendary, but they just couldn't. The reason they
Well before our time, though.
well before our time. They're still up and they've still got a small base. Their music kind of base. And is it Justin, I want to say Justin Timberlake, maybe I think Justin Timberlake bought it and sold it again. But it's more music based and there is a small platform.
Alright.
But that was the big thing from 2005 to 2008.
It was cool.
Everyone had it.
It was
Create your own website.
It was better social media.
It was
in a way.
really good, and it was. But when Facebook came along, they just couldn't compete. They just again got squashed out.
It is a shame. It is a shame. I don't really. Do you know what capacity MySpace still operates? Is it just like music and stuff, or is
It's
it like,
mostly just music, just like not music sharing, but like people who like music will join up on that site to kind of talk about music and stuff. And it's quite a lot of singer-songwriter stuff. But they tried again in 2010 for a big relaunch, and they just couldn't.
Yeah.
Because there was just so much other. It was a shame because they were so good at what they
like at
did.
that point? I'm not really sure of the history of social media. Do you know when the others came out, like Twitter and that?
No, I can't. I don't have the dates on. I'm sorry. I don't. Again, we didn't. We had
Yeah.
a bit of a hectic week. We haven't put too much thought in. We just wanted to record an episode.
Of course, yeah.
Because I'm
But-
not here next week, so we're bulking the episodes up. So
Very hard, very hard.
churning it out on the grind, you know.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think about MySpace. Again, it was before our time. I wish it lasted a long, and it goes to show that no social media is invincible. In a few
Yeah.
years, we'll probably be like, Facebook. What's a Facebook? Like,
What's an Instagram?
What-
We're all on like Zooplo.
no, never Zooplo. Zooplo's never gonna go anywhere.
Or what do you mean? We're all on Guitario. or look at this amazing.
Oh, do you
New
have a Bingozo account? Oh man.
No.
Oh, come talk to my friends on Jumbimbo. Anyway,
Like-
enough future making fun of the future aside.
But on a serious note, recently in the news, I know it's all over the place, the danger of social media. But on a really serious note, there was a girl called Molly, who was 14, Molly Russell, and she had various accounts, and she started looking into like suicide on those accounts. So on Pinterest, suicide stuff, and it only came out fairly recently, but she took her life because of it. Because because of how the algorithm works, when she searched for more suicide stuff, they posted, oh, she likes suicide, let's filter, let's give her so much more suicide stuff and depression stuff. And at one point they gave her like pro suicide groups, which were just ultimately wasn't good. And it's like, actually the algorithm was horrible. Surely something of the algorithm should have gone, wait, no, we can't give someone suicide, we should give them support, we should give them help. There needs to be some sort of way of saying, this person's looking into suicide, let's give them the resource to help.
Yeah, I mean, and with something as complicated as algorithms, you know.
So join us next time on the Job and Ruben show to see our fourth episode.
We're still yet to see what the next episode is going to be about. Probably something spicy. Got a whole page of ideas. We'll just have to see.
See you then.